Let's go now to Orlando, and that is where we find ABC's Janai Norman. She has been witnessing a harrowing scene all day long at a nursing home that was evacuated there. Janai, we are seeing these incredible images also of Lake Eola flooding the surrounding streets. What is the city dealing with right now? What are you seeing?
Gio, they are dealing with exactly that, flooding. Because when I talk to people around here, the sentiment is basically just that they never expected to get as much rain as they did, and to see the widespread flooding around Orlando and Orange County and Central Florida that they have. But that is what we've been seeing. That was the case at that nursing home. I spoke with the assistant fire chief out there earlier, and she told me they were prepared. They had sandbags. There's a little like reservoir outside to try to prevent water from coming in, but it just wasn't enough for all of the water that Hurricane Ian call around 5 a.m. And when she first walked into the building, about 10 minutes later, the water was already, she says, about waist deep outside in the parking lot that started to look like a lake. Inside, she said it was about ankle deep, and within a short time, it was then moving quickly up her legs. And we saw the boat. I think the last time we checked in with you, Gio, we saw that boat, and we were trying to figure out what it was. Turns out about 30 of those 106 residents were rescued using that boat. Fire rescue crews told us that they took the boat inside because there was so much water. For those residents inside that nursing home who were able to walk, because the water was so high and they are generally elderly, they didn't want them to walk through that. So they put people in that boat to get them outside to safety.
Just a terrifying thing to think about, Janai. And listen, we always talk about tourism in Orlando, okay? But in this case, we're seeing flooding and damage in residential areas too, and of course, that nursing home. So what are people there telling you about that? Because no doubt about it, so many people are dealing with what they weren't expecting. They weren't expecting this much water.
They weren't, Gio. And not only at that nursing home, right from there, we ended up going to the Orlo Vista area of Orange County, about 15 minutes from downtown Orlando. And there was a neighborhood that was, I mean, it wasn't completely covered in water, but there was water well up on homes. And it was really, at one point, we were able to ride one of the boats with rescue crews after they'd gotten most of the people out. And they were taking us through the areas. And it was really staggering to see that this is a neighborhood that has 3 lakes nearby. All of those lakes just ran over their banks, came together, and really overtook this neighborhood. That neighborhood looked like it was part of the lake. We saw the tops of homes sticking out, that just barely the tops of mailboxes. And fire crews were explaining to us the challenges that they faced when they started these rescues before the sun even came up this morning, and we're still going so many hours later to get through those floodwaters, to get people who needed help to safety. It was a big challenge for them, and really to see that this water that they were in is full of gasoline. You could smell it. That at one point they told us, oh, did you hear that? The guy just told us he saw a snake in the water. These are some of the challenges that they faced as they were making these water rescues, because Hurricane Ian just brought so much flooding to this area. And that, Gio, is exactly what officials told us 2 days before. I spoke with Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer just across the street earlier this week, and he told me that they were concerned about 2 main things: the wind damage and the flooding. And we certainly saw it.
Yeah, and that's what you just don't understand. You don't know what you're going to see and find in that standing water. Janai, what's the next step here? How long will it take for this flooding to really subside? Is anyone there telling you that?
Not yet, Gio, and there's certainly more traffic. And this part, especially of downtown Orlando, where there isn't significant flooding exactly where we are at this point, because, for instance, there's a Lake Lucerne back there, and early this morning we could see that was well over its banks, flooding part of Orange Avenue, a main thoroughfare in Orlando. The water has started to recede in some areas, so we are starting to see more traffic. But there are parts of Central Florida, Kissimmee, for example, parts of Seminole County, Volusia County, and Gio, I know you're familiar with Florida, so you know those areas. Parts of those counties are still absolutely flooded. There are still rescues going on. So for many parts of the area, the word is still stay home if you don't have to go anywhere.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.